Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalia Leigh. I'm an indie author and freelance editor, and today I'm going to kind of look back at how writing went for me in the year 2020 and how I hope writing will go for me in 2021 / my writing plans for 2021. Now this is just going to be talking about writing, reflecting on the book that I put out this year, the book that I was working on this year, and then kind of looking forward into the new year and what I hope to achieve in the new year. I am going to have an entire goals video out maybe next week, maybe the week after. So I'm going to do a whole goals video for 2021 and then looking back and reflecting on 2020 and kind of how things changed for me in terms of writing, my business, my life. So this is not my goals video exactly. This is just reflecting on writing, looking back on writing. And I also want to go ahead and mention that today's video is sponsored by Campfire. Thank you so much, Campfire, for sponsoring today's video. And a little later on, I will be talking about how you can use it to write, edit, plot, and just enjoy your story and your characters. I will also be drinking some tea today. It has finally cooled down a little bit. Colorado has been way too warm. It feels like we're in spring and we have totally skipped winter, which is not good, but we did get some snow, so I have the fire going, I have some tea. Today I am drinking Pure Cure Skincare Moonlight Glow Tea, and I got this in my Sips by box. This is the perfect time of year for tea. Greg and I have been drinking a lot of tea. We've been watching Vikings every night, and we just make ourselves a cup of tea or 2 cups of tea, and we sit down and watch Vikings. So if you're interested in grabbing a Sips by box, or maybe even getting it for somebody else, like another tea lover in your family, and getting them a subscription, I do have a $5 off code that will be linked down below in case you're interested. But yes, this is what I'm going to be drinking today. I had better not spill it on the carpet because it is red and the carpet is not red. So maybe I should actually move this out of my way. Oh, that is crazy good. That is like crazy sweet. And he matches the Christmas tree. So my bear mug is going up there. Okay, so looking back on how writing went for me in 2020, I actually hopped on my YouTube because I document everything on YouTube. All my writing stuff, a lot of my life stuff, I document in my videos, which is really nice for me because then I could go and look back at what I've been working on. So I went through and I actually did like a bit of a timeline of 2020, and I was pretty surprised actually because I didn't remember a lot of this. So in early February, I started editing more. I was starting to get more clients. So that's something to mention because editing and my editing business have affected my ability to write this year. So we're going to go through a timeline. That's just my best way to reflect on this year, writing this year. Early February, I was starting to edit more. February 25th, I posted a video that I had finished my Pistol Daisy rewrite, and I actually forgot that I rewrote that book earlier this year, because it was like almost ready to go, and then I did a final read through and I just knew that there were some lingering things, and by lingering things, they were actually quite large. Like I did almost a total rewrite. It was quite a big overhaul actually, and you can look back on those videos. I'll link a couple down below. So February 25th, I finished my Pistol Daisy rewrite. I was really proud of it. I continue to be incredibly proud of that book. It's my favorite book I've ever written. And then moving forward into March, my pet sitting stopped. So this was, this greatly affected every aspect of my life, and certainly writing, because up until March 2020, I had a full-time pet sitting business, and I do air quotes around full-time because, of course, my schedule changed every single day during the summer, and of course, Greg helped me with that too. We've had 2 businesses together now. So during the summer, we would be incredibly busy. Both of us would have, a full list of dogs we had to go take care of. But then in winter, February, March, it slowed down a lot because people weren't traveling as much. So there were kind of seasons with pet sitting, and I used those seasons to write and to get a lot of writing done. So, there would be some weeks where I didn't have any pet sitting clients. So I could spend my entire week just writing and making YouTube videos and, you know, drinking tea and hanging out. But then COVID hit and my entire pet sitting business collapsed, like overnight essentially. All of our clients canceled on us. The entire business went under. And Greg and I still do a little bit of pet sitting here and there for like some clients that we're really close to and, you know, that we've worked with for a long time. But that's important to mention, is that in March, pet sitting completely stopped for us. So thank goodness we had editing income to back us up when that happened. So then in April, I re-outlined Whiskey City. I did that for Camp NaNoWriMo in April. So I had already written 2 drafts by this point. So this is April 2020. I had already written the second draft of Whiskey City. So I've put a lot of energy into Whiskey City. It doesn't feel like it now because I've been gone from it for a while. But I re-outlined it because I knew I needed to add more, especially because I did that full rewrite of Pistol Daisy back in like January, February. So for April Camp Nano, I re-outlined Whiskey City, and I was also looking for ARC readers for Pistol Daisy. So that was a really exciting time for me because I was prepping to launch Pistol Daisy and I was also working on Whiskey City. Yeah, so at this time I was editing more. You know, I was certainly picking up more and more clients, but I was still able to focus on writing and I was still able to focus on prepping to release Pistol Daisy. So it was a really exciting time because I was so kind of enveloped in the Pistol Daisy world, which is something that's really necessary for me. The garage below me is opening. We're gonna pause and drink tea until this earthquake stops. You know, I definitely learned this year that being completely enveloped in the Pistol Daisy world is imperative to my success, especially because I'm trying to write a series. And I have learned that I can't just dabble. Like, I can't just dabble in Whiskey City here and there and think that I'm going to remember all the nuances, all the little details, all of the plot threads that I started in Pistol Daisy, and that I'll be able to carry those over, because I can't. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But back in April, I was doing it all and it was manageable and I was feeling really good. These aren't exactly precise because I can't remember precisely when I started editing full time. But in May, I did post a video. It was a vlog of editing full time. So I know that back, you know, early summer 2020, I was editing full time. And I also know that Whiskey City started slowing down a little bit around that time. Fast forward to June 9th, I released Pistol Daisy. It was a kind of bittersweet release day for personal reasons that I don't know if I'll ever talk about, but I do have a release day vlog. I'll link that down below. Overall, it was a wonderful day. There were some things that when I think back to that day that kind of bummed me out that I'm thinking about, but it was a good release in terms of the book. And I can't remember when it was, I didn't write this down, but I have hit 100 reviews on Pistol Daisy, and that is like a dream come true. I was like striving to hit 100 reviews with Song of the Dryad, and it hasn't gotten there yet. If you've read Song of the Dryad and would like to leave a review, I would really appreciate it. But when I published Song of the Dryad in 2018, that felt like a never-ending uphill battle, like trying to get one review. So the fact that Pistol Daisy has hit 100 reviews, I have you guys to thank for that. Thank you so, so much for supporting me on my journey, for supporting Daisy and her story. I really appreciate you. So just want to mention that. And then there were a lot of big changes in my life, you know, and in Greg's life in late June. So in late June, Greg and I ended up moving into an apartment. It was very unexpected, very short notice, and it rattled us a lot. I would say it rattled me more than anything. I feel like I'm still rattled from this, even though it's, you know, months later. So end of June, we moved in here. And then in July for Camp Nano, I worked on Whiskey City, and I started working on, I want to say I was working on the 3rd draft actually. So in April, I had re-outlined Whiskey City. In July, I think I started working on it, rewriting it, you know, kind of from the get-go. So July was when I started fresh on Whiskey City. I was, of course, saving anything I could from the 2nd draft, but having to rewrite a lot as well. And then end of August 28, I posted my video on being in a writing slump. And I think that video is still very accurate, but I'm not sure if I would call it a writing slump so much as not being able to balance personal creative writing with my business and all the editing and creative work that I do for my clients. So that was at the end of August. I posted my writing slump, and I looked today, and the last time I worked on Whiskey City was September 2nd. October, November, December. So that was over 3 months ago. And I think this is the longest period of time I have gone without working on my own creative projects probably since I started writing Song the DRYAD. Because before I started writing Song the DRYAD, I was kind of working on and off on getting Way of Spears published, but I really didn't know what I was doing, and it was just kind of like a fun thing back then. And then Song the DRYAD was when I got really serious about writing books and being an indie author and building a community. So the fact that I haven't written in 3.5 months is very unsettling to me. And I do think that I have accepted it for the most part, because this is just the season of life that I'm in right now, and our lives will always change. But yeah, so I haven't worked on anything for 3.5 months. And that's how writing went for me in 2020. It was going well in early 2020, and then I would say when I got hit with full-time editing work, which I'm very grateful for, absolutely loving it, dream job. When I got hit with full-time editing work, and then when things kind of crumbled at our old home and we were forced to move out, that really shook me up too. And it took me quite a while to kind of find my footing again after that. And what is today? Today is December 14th, I want to say. Yeah, so we are almost exactly halfway through December, and I don't foresee me working on Whiskey City at all this month, so probably not the rest of this year. So that takes us into my writing plans for 2021. But before we jump into that, I want to tell you a little bit about today's sponsor, which is Campfire, or more specifically Campfire Blaze, which is like the new program that Campfire has out. Campfire has a couple of other programs out. They have Campfire Pro, which I have used extensively, but today I'm going to tell you a little bit about Campfire Blaze. So Campfire Blaze includes a word processor, timelines, character sheets, locations, character arcs, magic, languages, items, and a bunch of other stuff. Essentially, if you need to plan it, plot it, or build it, Campfire Blaze already has that built into the program for you. And what's really cool about Campfire Blaze is that it's actually a subscription, and you can build your own subscription for as few as 50 cents or a few dollars a month. So it's really affordable, and you can customize it to your needs. So you don't have to use everything Campfire Blaze has to offer. You could just select like the module. Would you call it a module? Maybe you call it a module. You can just select the modules that fit with your project and what you are writing, so that you're not paying for things that you're not using. There is a free version, so if you are interested, that will be linked down below. I highly recommend that you at least try it out, just have some fun with it, especially if you are going to be working on like editing your NaNoWriMo novel next year and you're working on re-outlining. Like I mentioned in the Nano is Over, What Do I Do Now video, that'll be linked down there if you haven't seen it already. So this would work really well if you are planning in the new year to write a new book or to edit the book that you wrote this year, whatever it is. So the link will be down there. You can try it for free. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee if you decide that you don't like it, but I think you're going to love it. All right, Campfire, thank you so much for sponsoring today's video, and now we are going to jump into my writing plan for 2021. And again, we're doing those air quotes because I think we all learned in 2020 that whether or not you plan, things can just fall apart in the blink of an eye. But here is what I have written down for my writing plans in 2021. So because I haven't written in such a long time, and because I am distanced from Daisy and her world now, the first thing I need to do next year is reread Pistol Daisy and take notes about things that I really love, about things that I want to make sure I pick up on in Whiskey City. You know, just read it, enjoy it, get back into the story world, because I'm really not in Daisy's world right now. I'm not in her head. She does pop up every so often. I do think of her frequently, and I miss her. I miss her a lot, so I definitely want to read Pistol Daisy, take any notes that I need to, so that that will kind of prep me for going back into Whiskey City. And I think I want to start by writing just a couple times a week, because again, I haven't written in 3.5 months, and by this point, it'll probably be 4.5 months or 5 months, you know, and that's a very long time for me personally to go without writing. Of course, I've been editing, I've been copy editing, I've been doing manuscript critiques, so I have been in the creative writing world. I'm in the creative writing world every single day, but it's different when you're working on your own project versus when you can step back. You're stepped back from somebody else's project when I'm working on it, and I can see things differently and often more clearly. So I need to ease back into it by, I think, just writing a couple times a week is going to be kind of a goal. We're going to see, and even if that's a half hour here or there, just to get me started and get me back into a little bit of a habit of, okay, I'm opening my document and I'm working on it, or, at least to just keep my mind in the world, because that to me is the most important thing that I have learned, is that I have to stay in Daisy's world if I want to write her stories from a really authentic place. I can't just forget her Pistol Daisy story and then sit down and just try to write Whiskey City. It doesn't work that way. And that's what I'm learning about a series. I would be curious to hear from anybody else who's written a series if you have that experience too. If you have to go back and reread your books before you write the next book in the series, you can let me know in the comments down below. So I need to start writing a couple times a week at least. And I want to start writing remotely while traveling in the van. And I've mentioned this in a couple videos. Greg and I are having our van finished this coming year, end of February of 2021. So we're hoping it'll be done by late April, mid to late April, hopefully sooner. I'm not sure. We're not going to rush them, of course. It's very difficult work that these people are going to be doing in the van. So when that happens, when that van is done, and of course this isn't for certain, but it is something that Greg and I have been discussing, we're thinking about doing van life full time for a few months, kind of for spring and summer. We're thinking of leaving apartment life behind, and heading into the van and doing that full time. And I have a feeling that that would really help me in terms of creative writing, because this is a whole video topic, but I have been feeling strangled for inspiration ever since June. This place is part of that. I have not lived in an apartment since I was in high school, and when I was in high school and middle school living in an apartment, I loved it. It didn't bother me at all. I had friends all around me. It was awesome. But as an adult living in an apartment, I don't do well here. I have been having a really, really hard time in this apartment. It has been much more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Just on a personal note, it has been really hard for me. And of course, Tifa died this year, and that's just another thing that makes this apartment not really feel like home anymore. So there's just been a lot of stuff going on there that has drained me of creativity. And I know that whenever I step foot outside, whenever I take off my shoes and I put my feet in the dirt, whenever I am breathing in the fresh air when I'm hiking in the mountains, there is magic in that for me. There is something that makes me feel so alive about getting the hell out of the city and just being out and being free. And I have a feeling that if Greg and I kind of do this and we head out in the van full time, I'm going to be so full of creativity. And I really hope that I can, share vlogs and stuff with you guys of writing Whiskey City while doing a Pistol Daisy road trip, down through southern Colorado. And I guess I can't tell you too much about places where she goes in Whiskey City, but that's where Pistol Daisy kind of starts out, is in a place kind of down near Pueblo, and that's southern Colorado, south of where I live, near Denver. I want to do a whole Pistol Daisy road trip and, go and tour some old mines and tour some historical sites and those old creepy history museums that are off the side of the highway that you never really want to stop at, but that I really love. Hopefully they'll be open by spring next year. So I want to write remotely while traveling, and I think it would help me so much. So that's kind of a loose plan, I would say, for next year. And I want to finish Whiskey City and publish it next year. My original plan for Whiskey City was to publish it in 2020. I wanted to publish it in December, but there was no way that was going to happen, just with the way that this year turned out. And, sometimes you make plans and they just don't turn out the way that you think they're going to. So you have to be a little bit flexible with that, and that's what I'm learning. So I really want to finish Whiskey City and publish it next year. Those are definitely going in the goals video. Those are big goals for me next year because I don't want to go like an additional year between putting out books in a series. So I want to get Whiskey City out next year for sure. And then I'm thinking maybe I can write the first draft of book 3 during NaNoWriMo next year. I didn't get to participate in Nano this year. I had originally planned on it, but again, things went crazy and haywire and I wasn't able to, and I'm actually thankful for that because there was no way I had time to participate in NaNoWriMo this year. And last year, I remember, this is going back to 2019, but I almost won NaNoWriMo with Whiskey City in 2019, but my wrists gave out on me because I was writing too much and they were like in so much pain that I couldn't write anymore. But my wrists are feeling better. I do have some like off days because I'm on the computer so much, but I'm doing more yoga. I'm trying to like strengthen these wrists because I definitely need them. So those are just kind of my basic plans for 2021. And I just wanted to sit down and share this with you because I think more than anything, this year has been eye-opening in terms of you can plan all you want and you can think that you have your life really organized and really figured out, but things, life has a way of just doing what it wants. And you can't always prepare for that. You can't always just bounce back from that really fast. And again, I will be coming out with a whole video that's like a 2020 reflection video. I have a feeling it's going to be like an emotionally heavy video because 2020 has been, for many of us, I think, 2020 has been a really difficult year. One of the hardest years of my life, probably one of the hardest years of many of our lives. So I will be coming out with a, reflection of 2020, looking back at YouTube, at writing, at my life, at just being, my experience with 2020. And then of course, there will also be that video coming out that's my like goals for 2021. And those will be writing goals, YouTube goals, business goals, lifestyle goals, all kinds of stuff. So that'll be more of like a generalized goals for 2021. But yeah, there you have it. That was my look back at how writing went for me this year. I was actually really surprised to see that it was going really well until May/June. And then after that, it just kind of started going downhill, and I'm still at the bottom of the hill. I have plans to start going back up the other side of the hill and getting back to a good place, but I just kind of have to be patient and work diligently on all the projects that I'm working on right now so that I can get back to that point where I'm kind of like on a plateau, like a healthy plateau where everything is balanced and I'm like working and I'm doing creative stuff and I have health and everything's balanced, because this year there's been no balance. It's just been like a crazy roller coaster. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to try out Campfire Blaze. That'll be linked down below. If you want to get a Sips by box for yourself or for someone you love, I have a $5 off coupon. That'll be listed down below. Let's get Mr. Bear over here. It's so cute that he matches that Christmas tree. I'm loving it. When you let a tea bag sit for too long and then it just becomes way too strong? I have to go add some water to that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in another video again very soon. I hope you are doing well. If you are looking to book editing services or formatting services, make sure that you are contacting us ASAP. We are booking formatting into, I want to say February right now. Greg isn't here, so I can't ask him, and I don't have his schedule pulled up. But I think we're booking formatting into February, and our schedule shifts around every so often if clients have to cancel or something. So if you need something sooner than that, formatting sooner than that, you can definitely still reach out to us and we might be able to fit you in. And then in terms of editing, again, there are 3 editors on the Enchanted Ink team, and we are booking kind of all throughout the year at this point. So if you want to get in and get on our schedule, make sure you're doing that now so that you're not, getting pushed back to like December of 2021 for editing, because you don't want that. All right, that's all I have for you today. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.